Hello, everyone. I'm Scott Simon of Simon Says with another podcast, but this one a bit different than the past ones. No interview with this one, just a story narrative from me on what I've been doing in the past month. And I hope you enjoyed my interview with Jack Klobnak about being an entrepreneur. If you haven't listened to it, go back and listen. But what this episode is going to be about is what I've been doing the past month. And that is, I've been writing a book. I turned 62 in November, and I asked myself at that time, have I really made a difference in my life? Have I really stood out? And the answer was no. For many years, I worked in radio, and radio was a good career, but radio is just a puff of air. You say something, and it disappears. Of course, you can trap it on tape or a hard drive and replay it. But there's something special about the written word, a book, and I know I can write, and so I decided to write a book. And I thought I'd share stories about what I've seen in my life firsthand. And those of you who are members of my social media pages know that I have been outspoken about the way people act and talk. And I'm going to talk about that in just a moment. How people behave. And it's not just a now thing. This has been happening for the past 45 years. A lot of people blame the internet for the bad behavior, bad talk. But really it started in 1973. Now I'm not going to let the cat out of the bag and tell you why. You'll have to buy the book when it comes out. So it's going to be stories over the last 45 years that I'm going to write in this book. And right now, I'm probably about 2/3 finished. It will come out in 2019. And I wanted to write a book with a narrative and a style that you can understand because you've seen these types of stories in your lifetime. Now let's talk about today. Admittedly, the discourse in this country, the United States, is pretty bad. There's such a great divide between political parties, and the focus seems to be President Trump. And rightfully so. He is so much different than any other president before him. Now, as many of you know, I voted for President Trump, not because of what he says, but what he does, how he acts. He has that power with his pen to sign legislation or to modify legislation. He has that power, but a lot of people focus on what he says and how he says it. And how does that differ from us? Those of us who are not as rich or powerful as President Trump. And the big difference is that we can shape and make a difference in what we say and what we write rather than how we act because we don't have that type of power. And that's why I decided to write. I don't have any power. I'm just an ordinary guy who goes to work every day, helping Medicare members with their Part D prescription drug questions and issues. And I knew that writing stories about what I've witnessed in my life can make a difference because I think the stories I am going to write about you've seen in your life, and so it can relate. Now, this book isn't going to be loaded with political stories. In fact, just the opposite. There may be just two and no more than two. And the reason why is political people, when you don't see them in the public eye, aren't that exciting. Yes, they do make a difference, but they make a difference how they act, not what they say. They're not very entertaining. They're kind of myopic. And that would make for a boring book. No, this book is going to be stories of people, things, events that you've seen. A few of the names in my book you will recognize because they're pretty famous, and I have been exposed to some famous people. Others you won't recognize, but the stories are going to stand out because it's going to be a wide variety of stories. Happy, sad, constructive, critical, funny, absurd. They'll be from the realms of news, sports, work-related, and there'll be some philosophy using real-life events. And the name of this book is familiar to those of you who have read my writings on social media. It's going to be Life in the United States of Anything Goes. And that's basically how this book is being written. Anything goes. It's not going to be a one long continuous narrative. One chapter may write about something newsworthy that had some effect in your life, or sports, or just something work-related that we've all encountered with a boss or an owner. So it's going to be about life in the United States of Anything Goes, and I'm really excited about it. And I'm looking forward to wrapping up the writing in a couple of months, and hopefully we'll have this book out in the summer, just in time for next year's Christmas holiday shopping season. I want this book to stand out and make a difference. I want it to be my life's pride and joy, my work of collaboration and art, and present it to you in an entertaining and informative manner. I'm hoping you'll buy it. I think you will. I've got a lot to learn about the publishing industry, but I think it will be a good seller, not a bestseller or a great seller, but I think it will crack the door for maybe me to do other things in storytelling. I enjoy the podcast, and we're going to continue doing podcasts in 2019, maybe not as many interviews and maybe more narrative from me rather than hearing from other people, although the other people that I have interviewed I have really enjoyed, and they have told stories that are great, and we're going to continue that. For the rest of 2018, with just a couple of weeks left, I'm going to be outlining how many times I'll podcast, set aside times for writing, because I'm still going to work. I'm not rich. I wish I could retire 100% like some friends of mine, but I can't. But that's okay. I had a major medical episode in 2017, and I've been doing a lot of thinking in the past year. I don't have much more time left on this earth. It's time to make a difference and stand out, and my book, Life in the United States of Anything Goes, should do just that. No sponsors for this episode, although if you are looking for a Christmas gift, please visit Jay and Kathy Kirsting's doTERRA site. You can find that on my webpage, simonsaystories.com. Just go to the episode that Jay and I did a few months ago about doTERRA essential oils. It's a great Christmas gift. And next year, my book, it'll either be a great gift to somebody or you will enjoy reading it. If not, then I don't have any more answers in life. So with that, I sign off, hoping that you have a good holiday season. I'm Scott Simon of Simon Says. Now back to the keyboard to continue writing chapters in Life in the United States of Anything Goes.